So in chat, Horace Scorpion says, I think all this BLM stuff is making people more racist. It is.
Of course.
Because it is a racist belief system. And just like the feminist stuff, the way that feminism exists today within the SJW ideology, it makes people sexist. This makes people racist. It is a sexist and racist belief system. And you know what? It also makes people more racist on the other so-called side of this coin.
Racist,
because and I saw today on Twitter, so get this, one of the wrong thinkers I follow, who herself is a feminist, but she's been ousted, she doesn't post the right opinions, Kate Herzog posted a white nationalist, it's a screenshot of a white nationalist saying, as a white nationalist person, I'm rubbing my hands together in glee that critical race theory, BLM, thuggery, and other rogue golems are increasingly driving self-respecting white people towards unapologetic white identity politics. This is something we've talked about for a long time.
Yeah. White
supremacy is the other side of the same coin as social justice ideology. They teach the same shit. White people are superior.
I'm starting to believe that it's not even different
is,
sides of the coin. It's the same freaking... I'm
it's
sorry.
It is the same coin, but they teach that white people are superior, that white people have a privilege, that white culture is all about reason and intellect, and that all of our Enlightenment values are white values, which is not true.
Math
it doesn't have anything to do with
is a
race.
White thing. Logic is a white thing.
Being on time, that meritocracy, that logic, that all of these things are whiteness. SJWs teach you this, and white nationalists will teach you this. They both are collectivists. They're not individualists. They both teach you to look at people based on what racial group they're in, and to judge them based on what racial group they're in. And in the case of SJW ideology, also on what sex group they're in, the sexuality group they're in. But they teach you to look at people and judge them on the basis of race. They teach you that race is the most important thing, and we all have to focus on race, that we shouldn't see people as individuals. Guess what? Individualism is what cures racism. It's why we were on a path to progress. It's because of people like Martin Luther King who talked about individualism. That's why we made any progress at all, to get away from racist tribalism. This is a destructive belief system. It's regressive. It's aggressive leftism. And yes, you're exactly right. I'm sorry I'm on a tear again, but you're exactly right. This belief system is pushing racism, and it's increasing racism. And on the one hand, it's increasing racism by turning people into little SJW racists who are out pushing racism. And it's also pushing white people more towards white nationalism. It's increasing racism across the board. Okay.
I mean, something that I said the other day, that this is, and we've talked about this before, and something that you gotta just, without judgment, think about the situation here. Just to try and empathize with people involved. So, you've got the mainstream telling people that there's two choices. There's the quote anti-racist movement, right? Which is obviously very racist. It's like anti-white, actually also anti-black though. They have weird conceptions of what it means to be a black person. So they've got all these racist ideas, but those racist ideas are aimed at destruction of whiteness. So that you have that is on one hand, that's your choice. You can do that. But if you don't subscribe to that, if that's not your ideology, they're very black and white thinking, no pun intended, right? They're very, very black and white thinking. If that's not your ideology, then you are a white supremacist. That's what they're being told. That's not true, but that's what you're being told. That's the entire universe of options. Imagine yourself to be a young white person growing up, totally naive. The world presents you with these two options. Well, if you're self-hating, you choose the left's idea. If you're not self-hating, you become a white supremacist. Assuming that you can't think for yourself enough to realize there's a third option, which no one is talking about, which is individualism, right? Actually, individualism is the choice you should be making, but they don't want you to see it. And so individualism, like actual anti-racism, I tweeted this the other day. Actual anti-racism is called individualism. That's what it's called. Racism is a form of collectivism. It's just all it is it's a form of race-based collectivism. Collectivism can be tribal-based. It can be national-based. It can be based on favorite shirt. It doesn't matter. You can be sports team. You can be collectivist about anything. Collectivism has many ways to manifest itself. Sports teams obviously aren't a political bad manifestation, but politically, collectivism can be manifest in lots of different ways. Marx did it through classism, right? He did it through the quote workers and the people who owned the quote factory owners and the bourgeoisie, right? All those are forms of collectivism. Racism is just like the dumbest form of collectivism. It's like racism is collectivism for people who are like as dumb as a sack of hammers. That's what racism is. It's right. It's like, okay, I can't even conceive that people have any other like attribute than skin color. Like it's the most moronic form. All collectivism is evil. Racism is like the dumbest version of it. But that's all it is. And the only antidote to all of that collectivism is individualism. It's the only antidote. It's literally the only antidote. You have to view people as individuals, not self-owned individuals, to be judged independently based on their own actions and deeds and thoughts or speech, not as members of a group.
This is why when people start speaking up, speak up on behalf of individualism. SJW ideology changes rapidly. It evolves rapidly. And one of the things they've been doing in the past year, and we've seen this now in mainstream legacy media articles, they are now, they recognize, the ones who run this shit, they know that individualism is a threat to collectivism, and they know their ideology is collectivist.
Well, that's why they now are saying individualism is a dog whistle for white supremacy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so we've seen major news pieces now, legacy media pieces, which are openly attacking. Social justice warriors are now openly attacking individualism. They didn't used to do that outright. They used to be more of a cloaked about it, like, oh, we're not collectivists. They are collectivists, and now they've moved into this stage where they are openly saying individualism is the enemy, and individualism is somehow white supremacist. No, it's not. White supremacists are not individualists. They're just like you guys, SJWs. They're collectivists like you.